Our special guest today is a woman who's been in the spotlight for over 4 decades, and she still looks and sounds as incredible now as she did in the 60s. It's Lulu. I'm thrilled about that. Also joining us today, Libby Potter and Paddy O'Connell. Now, I've decided we'll start today by kind of thinking about what we might be in a parallel life. And I say parallel because I think, obviously, we're all lucky enough to do things we like doing now, so I don't want us to give that up. But it's like, what other path might you have taken? For some reason, I have a slight, I don't know, longing to be a midwife. I've always thought, I do think it would be really fabulous work.
Oh, great job.
I just think that would be, I mean, tiring, but really satisfying.
What about a matron, Nigella? Would you be a matron?
No, you know, as you know, I'm not at all bossy. No, but I would like to be a midwife, though I have to say that I have a slight... I went to see Chicago the other day, I mean, again, and I did think afterwards, you know, I would love to be a hoofer as well. I'd love to be able to sing and dance, and I really can't sing.
I would love to be on the stage too. I think that must be a common theme, but I would like to be either Maria or the Baroness in The Sound of Music. The Baroness because she has the best line in any musical ever, which is...
A handbag?
No, isn't it? Down there, my dear, is a young lady who I think will never become a nun.
Yes, it sounds perfect.
So, Paddy, I want to know
I know where you're coming from with the medical thing. I'm quite obsessed with Grissom in CSI at the moment.
So am I.
Yes.
So I'd like to get into that. I think if you could sort it out for me, Nigella.
Well, I have got some CSI gloves, which I use sometimes in cooking. You know, there's ones disposable gloves. That I might give you some.
Now we just need a corpse.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm out of here. I'm leaving. Goodbye. That is so not what I could do. I could never be a nurse. I mean, even, you know, about childbirth, I don't know that I've ever watched anyone give birth. And I think I might faint or something, you know. So I would definitely be no good as a nurse, not the medical profession for me. But, you know, I think maybe... I was going to originally say a hairdresser because that's what I wanted to be, was a hairdresser. Yeah. I love getting in there and helping people with their hair and telling them, oh, you should have more colour, you should have it cut, I like it like that. But I also think I would quite like to be a psychologist. Because I think people watching and people study is the most fascinating thing. Trying to understand them, their relationships. I love listening to people's problems.
So when you say psychologist, I mean, would you
psychiatry,
like to be
some kind of
psychoanalyst or some sort of therapist, so you could actually not just observe but participate?
Participate too, yes. But I think it's a very difficult profession.
You want a couch? Lulu wants a couch?
Just one couch will do.
Whatever Lulu wants, Lulu gets.
I mean, I just think sort of, you know, maybe counselling people, helping people.
But do you find you do that anyway with your friends? Are you always... I do. Yeah, so you tell people...
I'm a bit like you two, I'm very bossy. I tell them what to do and what I think they should do, and I love to... I'd like to be able to help people, you know, not that I'm that brilliant at it, but I think it's just people are so interesting, so work with people and trying to help them. Anyway, that's...
But you know, if you were being, if you like, some sort of therapist, what you have to have is an ability to lower your ego and sort of move away. And what you do, like being on stage, do you feel like that's when you're Lulu and the rest of the time you find it quite easy just to be on half-mast somehow?
Actually, that's a very, very good observation. I think it's true. I think it's true when I'm on stage, I'm completely in my zone. I'm at my comfort zone. I'm probably in my power because it's what I love and I get lost in it. And I mean, that's why I've been doing it all these years.
Do you get a lot from it when you go on stage?
I love it. And it's kind of like a love affair, you know? When you give to an audience and they're loving it and their faces are shining, they're looking at you, it's kind of having a love affair, you know? It's fabulous. You're both participating too, which is fabulous. So I think that maybe goes with the thing about wanting to be a therapist.
Does it sort of keep you going? Because, I mean, I find it so interesting. I mean, when you think about a long career, so you've got an album coming out now.
Yeah. On the 8th of August, called For a Little Soul in Your Heart.
But if you think about it, that's an awfully long time to be hip and making music. It's a bit like, if you think about it, someone who'd been a big star in the 20s being cool and bringing out a record in the 60s. It's that span of time, isn't it?
It's amazing. I don't know where the time goes, but I'm very, very fortunate that I never even had to think what I wanted to do. I just love singing, and I still love it. I mean, this has probably been the busiest summer that I can remember. I've toured with Elton. We went we did stadiums, and then I made an album, which was done in New York, France, England, and Los Angeles. And I've done this campaign for healthy hearts, all in the past 3 months. And it kind of makes me sort of high, really.
Yeah.
It's invigorating, that's what I mean.
I can see that. You seem very buzzy.
I love it, you know. Well, what else am I going to do now? Nigella, I'd be shopping. You know?
Or being a psychologist.
You see, now, I would have had to have been educated to do that, and I didn't have an education.
Do you mind that you didn't have an education?
I think sometimes I feel sort of a little less than, a bit insecure, you know.
Oh, no, you... Do you know,
but of course, I have had an education, a different education.
Yes.
But it's not a big problem for me, except that, of course, if one could choose again, you know, I maybe would have studied more, and that would have been... So
everyone who's starting singing now, Lulu, if they put it off till they were 23, 24, perhaps, they'd be losing some really important years, you know, of entertaining.
Oh, but of course, the 60s was a different time. I mean, it's nothing like it is today in the music business, you know. I mean, that little girl, Charlotte Church, you had on the show.
Yes, she was
I
lovely.
Absolutely was not a fan when she sang.
Oh, we love Charlotte Church now.
I am crazy for her.
Quite right.
You should do a duet.
I think she's gorgeous.
Why don't you do a duet with her?
Maybe. I don't know if she
It'd
wants
be
to do a
good.
duet
Yeah,
with
I'm
me.
sure she would. Because that's the interesting thing about what you've done too, is that thing of reinvention of doing, working with different people over the decades.
Yeah, I'm
does
excited by young
or do you,
talent.
yes, that's
I'm
good.
excited by young talent.
It's interesting because you say that you're, you know, in some ways, you know, insecure. But what's very lovely about you is that it shows that you're secure in your talent, that you're so generous about other people's gifts. Because I always think it looks very... When people are somehow snippy about young people coming into a business with talent, because then you think, well, why? You don't need to be like that.
Yeah.
You're you. And so, and you have that.
But it doesn't mean to say you have to like everybody. You don't like everybody. But, you know, yeah, I think it's a great business to be in, obviously.
But
music is very healing.
It's a great business if you're successful, but I watch a lot of the music channels and I can't believe the amount of kind of good songs that come out that you never really hear of. You think that this band is going to be a hit or that person is very talented, and there's the amount of records that are released, or I don't know if they're even released now.
They don't see the light of day.
They don't,
no,
that's it.
No,
I think that it must be a heartbreaking business to be in as
it is.
well.
I mean, I've had, obviously, lots of duds. You know, you have to take the ups and the downs, but... You're right. When it's good, it's very, very good. But it is difficult. It's not easy. You've got to be disciplined. You know, people keep saying to me, oh, you look great, and how do you take care of yourself? Well, I am very health conscious. I love food, as you do, but I'm very careful. I eat very clean diet. You know, I'm careful what I eat. So that gives me a chance to sort of last longer and be fit and be able to do it.
But do you ever feel, I don't want this discipline, I want to slob out, I want to...
Oh, of course! Are you kidding?
Yeah.
But partly because of my work, I do have to be disciplined because I want to have longevity.
Yes.
And so far, so good.
And also, you see everything in the... Everything's there in pictures. I mean, and endless clips of you throughout the decades. Do you ever think, you know, what was I doing that for? Or I wish I still had that.
Why did I wear that outfit? Or what was that hair? Oh, my God, the state of you. But thank God, a lot of them are so far away that I think are sweet. You know, kids, you know, you make mistakes. I still make mistakes.
Well, everyone makes... That's nice.
But they do come back to haunt you. That's the thing.
Yes, I know that. Don't point at me like that when you say it. I do know. Lulu and I are going to make spaghetti with uncooked tomato sauce. So as you can tell, the fact that there is no real cooking, there's not a lot to do. The only thing cooking is my pasta here. So if you see steam, you'll know it is just the pasta water. Right. Tomato sauce, very straightforward. You do need, I think, really fabulous tomatoes. You don't need to have these big Italian ones like this. If you want to use small ones, do. The only thing I'd say is don't put them in the fridge. And if they're a bit resistant, just put them on the windowsill, because just that taste of, you know, sun on tomatoes always makes them taste better. And they're just chopped up. It's not really that strenuous. Bit of salt goes into them, because I think you do need it quite strongly flavoured. This is lovely sea salt. Some garlic, not a lot, I'm going to use 1 clove. Some sugar just to counter the acidity of the tomatoes. Extra virgin olive oil, very good for you.
Yes, we like the olive oil.
I know you like that. And basil, which is just like the scent of summer. And I think I cook this really more than almost anything else in summer. Do you cook much?
Yeah, not a lot. I can cook, but I'm not like you, Nigella.
And when
but I'm watching.
It's okay, well, I'm going to show you just... it always makes people think it's a bit of an ordeal peeling tomatoes. I know it does sound like a lot, but here, what you do to make it easy is you just put your tomatoes in a bowl, and if you pour over hot water, yes, just
do you make the little cross?
I don't.
No, you don't. Oh,
I don't at all. I just don't think you need to.
No.
And then after a few minutes, I can put this away before I don't really want to plunge your hand into scalding water.
Thank you for
see, these two have had this treatment, and you can see here how easily the skin just comes away. So I'm just going to get this one out because you can have the skin on. It just doesn't all melt into a sauce in the same way.
Oh, I don't think you want the skin on.
You don't.
No. It sticks to your teeth. It's very unattractive.
We don't want that, do we?
No, we don't want that, dear. But I do love fresh tomatoes, I have to say. Mind you, sometimes when I cook, I do the fresh tomatoes, but I also use a tin of tomatoes.
But the Italians use tin tomatoes all the time.
See, I wouldn't use the sugar, and I use very little salt because I told you how health conscious I try to be. But I think the tin tomatoes probably has that in it.
I don't think always, no. If they're from Italy, they don't. I'm just taking the seeds out. It doesn't leave you with an awful lot of tomato, but that actually is all you need. And people who find they feel a bit unwell with tomatoes, it's nearly always the seeds anyway, so this makes it more digestible.
Ah, but I was interested, the sugar takes out the acidity, so?
Well, it balances it. I always think everything in life is the same in or out of the kitchen.
Balance.
You need balance. So I wouldn't want to put lots in, just a pinch, just like you might use a pinch of salt. Anyway, I'm going to get you to... You're sitting very comfortably, but I think you'd be even more comfortable doing a bit of work.
Shall I come over?
You're an active type of person.
Yes.
OK, I'm going to dry my hands before I put tomato liquid all over you. OK, would you like to grab one in either hand? And then you can just chop that up.
Love it.
And you just go quite fast. You don't even need to lift it off the chopping board.
Oh, really?
Just keep going like that. And
I
then it'll
love
be a mush.
This is great. This is not what I do, but it's great. I'm going to start doing this. Is it good? Am I good?
Yes, you are very good.
Am I going to get my own cooking programme now?
Yes. I think you could do.
But I can sing along while I cook, you see. That's
very
the thing.
nice. Do you think it's possible to teach anyone to sing?
Absolutely.
Do you?
Yeah, and I think it's just about confidence. Yeah, absolutely.
OK, I'm going to take this away from you.
You can see I'm not great.
No, you've done it. You're so good that you've actually, you've done it all. That's brilliant. OK, so I'm going to push this in with the other ones.
Yes.
And then this is all we're doing. I like cooking like this because it's not strenuous, it's not difficult. Bit of salt, not too much to worry Lulu. Only a teeny bit of garlic. I don't know if you can see this, Lulu. All I'm going to do is put my hand and the flat side of a knife on it.
Yes, I do that too.
Yes,
I love lots of
the
garlic.
scent. Do you? It's good for you.
Lots of garlic, lots of onions, lots of spices, lots of herbs. But I don't use a lot of cream. Which I know you like, I know. Or a lot of butter. I mean, I love it, but it doesn't really love me.
But you have a small amount, it's okay.
Yes, occasionally.
I'm now... So we've got the salt, sugar and garlic. Now, what I do is I whisk in the oil a bit like I was making a dressing, because if you think about a salad dressing is vinegar and oil, and the tomatoes have the acidity of vinegar, so if you do it enough, it kind of emulsifies, so you make a sauce.
Yum.
Can you see? It's almost like a sauce.
My mouth is watering.
Oh, that's very good. So all I do now is bung a bit of basil in. Again, I'm not going to start chopping it up, not least because basil turns black and slimy. So the tomato sauce is there. I'm going to drain the pasta, because I think it should be about ready now, my special pasta drainer.
Fabulous.
I got this because I'm teaching my daughter how to cook, and she's 11, and I didn't like the idea of her carting a heavy pan of water, so you just go like this.
Very good.
And the water drains out, and the pasta stays in it at the bottom. OK, I'm coming over with boiling water. Whoop, mind out there.
Wonderful.
In it goes. I should have fished out the basil, but I think I can do that now.
My sister says she loves watching you the way you do all that. She says, I just love the way she puts her hands in because she says that's the way I cook. She's not fussy.
I think it's the way everyone cooks who cooks regularly.
When we're not on the telly.
Well, also because I'm not a chef. I cook, at home, and I always feel, I know this is awful thing to say, and I don't want to encourage bad hygiene, but I feel I grew up having my mother's hair in our food, our tea every evening.
I don't wish to know that. Thank you very much.
What do they say? You've got to eat a peck of dirt before you die.
That's very important,
Got to boost your immune system.
In Scotland, they say, wee bit of dirt wouldn't do you any harm.
Exactly, and look at you, Sil. You're a very good investment, you see. You're feisty and strong, and you're going to eat my spaghetti.
But is it going to go all over my face? I need splatter it all over me. But I do love spaghetti.
Bit of basil here. I mean, I think when you cook it at home, if you leave it for 2 minutes, it absorbs some of the tomato as well.
Oh.
Anyway, no, it's fine. No, I don't want to leave it now.
I haven't eaten all day waiting to come on here.
I don't want you to leave it now. I'm just saying I would leave it like a minute in the bowl.
Oh, I see. Very good.
I know. I'm so awful. I always finish my food. I finish my food before the last person at the table is being served.
That's exactly me. I inhale it. I have a friend who says to me, "It's disgusting. You eat too quickly." And I go, "Sorry."
Well, I think you've got an appetite for life, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'll stop talking to you now so you can actually eat.
All right. Don't watch me, though. Don't watch me.
No, don't watch.
Because this is going to slop all over me. I can see
I can dive ahead and break the view. Very daintily done.
Oh, try it. Ew, that's horrible.
Now, we all know that sunbathing is really bad for us, and when it comes to fake tans, I think most of us are under the impression that they either leave you pretty streaky or distinctly orange. But times have changed, and there's now a new generation of self-tanners that promise a healthy glow without the trauma. We work hard on your behalf, you see, because last night, Paddy, Libby and I road-tested 4 of this summer's favourites and are here to report back. Libby, would you like from the front line?
Yes, I shall. This is the one that you kindly gave me to test. Hairbrush in a can, and I've got to tell you, it was an absolute unmitigated disaster. I started trying to apply it at about 9, and about 10:30 I was still wiping it off the bathroom wall. It actually comes out, and I'm sure I'm doing it wrong, and it does say practice makes perfect, but I haven't got time to practice. It came out in stripes down my leg. I took it straight off and actually used the one, because I didn't want to come in with completely white legs, I used the one that I normally use, which is this Origins one, which is actually great. And there's a slight difference, I think you can tell, just slight.
See, one leg brown, one leg white.
Yes,
that's the idea.
This is actually the one that I did, and that one is me.
Paddy?
Well, you see, this is the device that Nigella's team kindly gave me. This is what boys want. Boys want things like this that you can plug them in. None of that silly old girly thing there. It looks like an old aerosol. You can plug this one in. It's got a big button. And look at this thing here. It's got this marvellous little... Anyway, so I couldn't work out which end it would come out of.
Well, isn't that important? That's kind of important.
It is important. In life as in art.
Yes.
So I was sitting on the sofa and sprayed the sofa backwards. But anyway, the effect has been absolutely amazing. No one who sees my leg now can believe it. This is the sprayed one.
Oh, no.
Right? I just hang on a minute. Look at this dreadful pasty.
Lulu, we got you a particular present, you know, because before the show started, we asked all the beauty editors about what they thought of fake tan, and this one is the one they think's the best. That's their favourite, the Flash Bronzer. So would you like to squirt one? You don't have to squirt it on yourself.
Where am I going to squirt it?
You can squirt it down there if you like.
Oh, all right.
So you'll see it comes out. I know, but you know the point about that. Very, very beautifully done, if I may say. But the thing about it is that at least because it goes on brown, you can see where you've put it. So it's like initially,
as opposed to some of them that are just
you've
pale,
got like a little pale makeup on, and then it goes, you know, browner. Now, would you use fake tan?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm half Irish and half Scottish. In fact,
you look beautifully pale. So why do you want to be brown as well?
Well, sometimes when you go out and you're showing your legs, I'm sorry, those milk bottles. That's not. No, I can't do that. But I do tend to overdo it sometimes, and it's very difficult to get it right. And I think I've often been, you know, told that and I've found to be true, that the more moisturiser you use, and of course, I don't know how difficult it was for you with hairy legs. I mean, if you haven't got hairy legs, it's a little easier. It's difficult to not streak, isn't it?
It is, but I'm going to tell you, I've got one which is really for lazy people. Also, I think for people like me and Lulu who are pale, so we would look ridiculous if we went a deep teak. So, you know, all those proper, you know, all the proper ones, the self-tan things, say, you know, before you use, exfoliate and then moisturise.
Right.
That's an awful lot to do before you even start putting fake tan on. Right. So, and I really know I can't be bothered. So I've got something called Holiday Skin, which is really like body lotion, which has a small bit of self-tan, so it's only gradual. No, I've done both legs. I'm sorry, I didn't do just one. But also, I know they don't look really like bronze to you, but for me, this is brown. And if I went browner, I can show you the lining on my skirt at the same time. If I went browner, I would look ridiculous. I'd look like I was trying to be in an amateur production of Carmen or something. So, and that's
lovely.
And this is good. So it's
just
enough so you don't feel I'm blue-white, but not so much, you know, it's just a teeny bit. And this one actually actually is, you know, nice and cheap because it's £4.99, so you don't feel...
Oh, we're going to get loads of that.
I think this summer is the first summer I haven't felt compelled to put fake tan on. It seems that fashion, like you say, is becoming more towards paler skin, which is great because it's such a faff.
Yeah.
But you're lovely, but you've got that lovely honey skin, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, but everyone always says you should look, you know, completely brown when you wear skirts in summer, and I just think it's just pointless.
I think
really
what Nigella said about just taking that blue tinge off the legs is much more attractive.
Well, you know, I'm always happy in the kitchen, and today, just to keep on theme, we have kind of food with a suntan, real holiday food. Pineapple, there's a good beauty there, caramelised and then dunked into a chocolate Malibu sauce. So you can hear the steel band from here. The pineapple's been cut into long lengths, and then I've pierced it with a skewer that had been soaked in water. Do that because otherwise, if you put a skewer on the barbecue under the grill, it could burn. I've done that. You know, you don't really want to fire. So just dredge the pineapple in a bit of demerara sugar. This is just to help it caramelise. You don't need to be too assiduous about how much sugar you get on because the pineapple is sweet. It just helps it, really. You want a kind of scorched top. There we are. They look like kind of giant pineapple lollies. I'm just going to stick them in the grill later. And then the sauce. Now, the sauce isn't really cooking. Very, very easy. It's chocolate, obviously, and I've got really good dark chocolate there because I like it dark. And sugar. You can add more or less sugar as you want. It just depends on how bitter you like the sauce. Healthy amount of Malibu, which is coconut rum. You can use regular rum. And some cream. Not an awful lot of cream, really. But I'm not going to be defensive. Sugar goes in. That wasn't the sugar, of course. That was the chocolate. That was just the obvious mistake. There's the sugar. And then flood with the liquids. And just heat up. You don't have to do anything. Bit of casual stirring, if the mood takes you. And this is what it looks like when it's melted. So you can see it's just like molten chocolate. Now, for me, because I'm clumsy, the hardest thing is pouring rather than cooking. But I seem to be doing, not too bad, no spillages yet. That's only because it's going to spoke too soon. That's going to make it easier simply to pour the sauce into a little dipping bowl. And I think it's easier to give everyone a bowl simply because you want to keep, you know, eating and then re-dunking. So I'm just thinking of hygiene, of course. Let me get the pineapple bits. And then we're off. There we are. So you can see it's been caramelised slightly. And then you just put the sauce there, dip one into the other, and there you are. Caramelised pineapple with hot chocolate sauce.
Naughty, but nice.
Well, not a huge amount per person, really. That's the thing to remember. When you make things like this, you don't have to eat the whole lot. Actually, you can, of course.
Can we have the pan?
You can.
With your skewer.
Anyway, thank you very much, Lulu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry to do this to you, Libby, when you're eating. Thank you, Libby. Thank you, Paddy. Thank you. And goodbye and see you soon.